You know, there are a number of ways a CEO or a senior leadership team could measure employee engagement. The most traditional way, and I think the most reliable way, is to actually use a tool that assesses it, a survey. There are many of them out there. We have one that we prefer, but there are lots of tools out there for CEOs to use. I would add a couple of cautions for CEOs thinking about using a measurement tool. Number one, many of the so-called employee engagement assessment tools are actually employee satisfaction tools. And I'd be very careful with that, and here's why. You can measure employee satisfaction, and you might get high levels of employee satisfaction. But you might be getting them because they're well paid and not held accountable. You can't take a high level of employee satisfaction as an indice of doing all the great things that could be done within the organization. You can't reverse engineer back from a high employee satisfaction number and say we're doing everything we can. It doesn't work that way. Employee satisfaction actually is an outcome of engagement. It's not a leading indicator. The second caution I would offer is that there are many tools out there that ask questions about salary and compensation. Do you get enough? Is it fair? We don't like those questions in large part because when you ask employees, are you paid enough? Do you want more? They almost always say the same thing, pay us more. The challenge of that is when you ask that question and when the preponderance of data comes back and says, yes, we want more, we're not paid enough, there's an expectation that they will be. So when you ask the question, it implies that you're willing to put more money on the table. And if you're not, you really shouldn't ask the question. Now, the issue of are employees paid a fair and equitable wage, that's an important issue. I wouldn't necessarily do it in a survey tool. Lastly, third caveat I would throw out. Many of the tools out there are just too long. They ask too many questions. And we know that once an employee gets past question 30, 31, 34, they have online exhaustion. And some of these tools ask up to 80 questions. So the accuracy of them, the reliability of those kinds of long tools, we just don't think are important and valuable. You can get to the key drivers of performance on a daily basis, the things that drive an employee in the workplace, really in under 30 questions. You're going to get 90% of the value.